I noticed it before I even saw her face because the front door opened and the air in our entryway changed like someone had sprayed a room freshener and walked away. Not lemon, not laundry, not the faint clean soap smell she usually has after yoga. This was sharper, warm, expensive, the kind of cologne you catch in an elevator and think, okay, that guy definitely wants to be remembered. I was standing there with a dish towel in my hands, the sink still running behind me, and my brain did that weird thing where it tried to label the scent like that would make it harmless. She kicked off her shoes too fast, like she was trying to keep momentum. "Hey," she said, bright voice, cheeks pink, hair a little damp at the temples. She leaned in to kiss me, and I didn't move away, but my whole body went rigid anyway, like my muscles had made a decision without asking me. Her lips brushed mine, and the smell hit me again, closer this time, sitting on her hoodie like it belonged there. My eyes flicked down automatically. Her leggings were clean, no sweat marks, no yoga mat strap across her shoulder, no water bottle. She stepped past me into the kitchen and started talking about traffic, about how the class ran late, words spilling out with that casual, breezy rhythm she uses when she's trying to sound normal. I stood there listening to her voice and staring at the tiny details like they were clues on a floor. The way she kept touching the back of her neck, the way she didn't look directly at me for more than a second, the way her phone screen lit up and she flipped it face down on the counter without thinking. Third paragraph, zoom out context, I guess. We've been together 8 years, married for 4. Her name is Talia. I'm 33, she's 31. We're not the couple who screams at each other in restaurants or posts passive-aggressive quotes on Facebook. We're the couple friends come to when they're fighting because we're solid. We host game nights. We split chores without keeping score. I handle the boring stuff, insurance renewals, the car appointments, the mortgage payments. She's the social one, the one who remembers people's birthdays and will bring a bottle of wine to a dinner party without being asked. The last year has been quieter, not in a dramatic way, more like the volume got turned down on us. She changed jobs, started going to the studio near her office, got really into yoga in a way that at first felt healthy. She said it helped her stress. She said it made her feel like herself again. And I was happy she had something that wasn't just work and chores and scrolling until bedtime. I didn't want to be the guy who needs to know every detail of his wife's day, like he's her manager. I want to be normal, trusting, adult, but standing there smelling cologne on her hoodie. All I could think was, why would she smell like another man when she's been stretching in a room full of women and eucalyptus spray? I try to be casual because my mouth and my pride were trying to protect each other. New candle at the studio? I asked like I was joking, like I was handing her an easy out. She opened the fridge and stared inside like it was fascinating. What? Her voice went slightly higher on the word. The smell, I said, and immediately hated how direct it sounded. You smell different. She laughed, quick and sharp, then reached for the seltzer. It's probably just the essential oils. I spray stuff sometimes. You know that. She took a sip, and I watched her throat move, watched her eyes stay slightly too wide. Yeah, I said. Maybe. I went back to the sink because I didn't know where else to put my hands. The dish towel felt wet and useless. The water kept running. She started talking again about how the instructor did this new sequence, about how her hips are so tight lately, about how she's thinking of buying a new mat. It was a flood of details that sounded like a cover story being padded out in real time. And I kept thinking about the smell. Cologne doesn't just appear. It transfers. It clings. It's designed to linger. I told myself there were innocent explanations. Maybe someone hugged her. Maybe the studio shares a hallway with some guy's office. Maybe she was in an Uber and the driver was drenched in it. My brain offered me lifelines like a polite waiter. Would you like to avoid this? Would you like to keep eating your dinner? Then she lifted her arms to tie her hair up, and I saw a faint smear on her wrist. Not sweat, not lotion. A little shimmer like someone's cologne mixed with something else. Her nails, usually plain, had a fresh, clear coat, like she'd been fidgeting, like she'd had time to pick at them and then decided to fix them. Did you go straight there? I heard myself ask. She paused. Just a hair. To yoga? Yeah. I stopped at the pharmacy first. For what? I asked too quickly. She blinked. For deodorant. Mine ran out. I stared at her because she was wearing deodorant. I could see the clean stick marks on the inside of her hoodie when she lifted her arm. Also, who runs out of deodorant and goes to a pharmacy, but comes home smelling like cologne? I tried to swallow and my throat felt tight, like it was narrowing on purpose. Okay, I said. Cool. That was the first night. The smell happened again a week later. And then again. And the second time, I didn't say anything right away. I watched. I listened. I took in the pattern like I was studying for a test I didn't want to pass. She started showering the second she got home, even when she said the class was gentle and she barely sweated. She started leaving her phone in her pocket when she went to the bathroom, which she never used to do. She started getting defensive about tiny questions. Not angry exactly, just sharp. Like every normal question had a hidden accusation behind it. One Thursday, I got home early. I work in IT, and my schedule is flexible when nothing's on fire. I was in her living room when her phone buzzed on the coffee table. It lit up with a name I didn't recognize. Mark Studio. Under it was a message preview that said, "Same time tomorrow? Don't wear the..." I didn't finish reading it. I shouldn't have even seen it. I wasn't snooping. It was right there. But my stomach dropped so hard my knees actually felt weak, like the floor had shifted. When she walked in 10 minutes later, she smelled like shower gel. Too clean, like she'd washed something off. Her hair was wet, and she had that forced bright energy again. "Hey, babe," she said, like we were in a commercial. I didn't say hi back. Not right away. I just looked at her, and I could feel my face doing something tight, blank, confused. "What?" she asked, already defensive before I'd said a word. "Who's Mark?" I asked. My voice came out calm, and that scared me. I wanted to be angry. Anger would have been simpler. Her eyes flicked to the coffee table like she knew. Like she could see the message hovering in the air. "Mark?" she repeated, buying time. "What Mark?" "The one who texted you," I said, and then I hated myself for making it sound like a trap. But it was a trap. Not one I said. One she walked into because she thought I wasn't paying attention. She exhaled, long and theatrical, like I was being exhausting. "He's the studio manager," she said. "He sends updates, like schedule stuff." "What does 'don't wear the' mean?" I asked, and I could feel my heart beating in my neck. Her mouth opened and closed. "I don't know. Probably don't wear the..." Like don't wear the wrong shoes? He's always joking. "You stare the hair. Since when does the studio manager text you like that?" She stepped past me, heading for the kitchen like movement could make this conversation less real. "Oh my God, are you really doing this right now?" "I just got home." I followed her. Not aggressively. Just, I couldn't let her escape into another room and turn this into something that faded. "Talia," I said, but my voice cracked on her name in a way that embarrassed me. "You've come home smelling like cologne multiple times. You shower the second you walk in. Now some guy is texting you 'don't wear the...,' like he's mid-conversation. I'm not insane." She spun around. "It's a yoga studio. People hug. People." She threw her hands up, searching for random excuses like they were scattered on the floor. "There's men there too, okay? The instructor is a guy sometimes." "It's not." "Then why does it smell like a man's cologne on you?" I asked, and now my voice was louder. Not yelling, but not controlled either. "Why does it smell like it's on your clothes, on your neck? That isn't from someone walking past you." Her face changed. Not into panic, into calculation. That's what messed with me. I could see her doing quick math, deciding what lie fit the evidence she thought I had. "You're being paranoid," she said, and her tone was suddenly cold. "I'm not doing anything." I laughed once, and it sounded ugly. "You're not doing anything," I repeated, like the words were foreign. "So you're telling me I'm just imagining it? I'm imagining a smell?" "It's not a smell," she snapped. "It's a scent. And you're fixating on it because you're stressed or something." I felt something in me shift. Not explode. Not break. Just detach a little, like a button popping off a shirt. "I'm stressed," I said slowly. "Because my wife comes home smelling like another man and calls me paranoid." She looked away. That tiny movement. That refusal to meet my eyes. And I knew. I didn't know the whole story, but I knew the shape of it. I did the thing I'm not proud of after that. I waited until she was asleep and I check her phone. I know. People are going to say if you have to do that, it's already over. Maybe they're right. But I needed something solid because she was making me feel like my reality was optional. Her passcode hadn't changed. That alone made my stomach twist. Like she didn't even think she needed to hide. Like she trusted my trust to keep me blind. The texts were there. Not explicit pornographic stuff. Not, I love you. That almost would have been easier. It was worse in a quieter way. It was familiarity. It was inside jokes. It was him calling her T and her replying with laughing voice notes. It was him saying, "You smelled amazing today," and her saying, "Stop, you're going to get me in trouble." It was him asking, "Are you okay? You seem tense after class," and her saying, "He's been weird lately." He, me, reduced to a pronoun. There were receipts too. Not hotel receipts. Payment confirmations for a bar near the studio. Twice a week. Yoga class nights. One Saturday morning when she'd said she was doing a workshop. And then there was one message that made my vision blur. "I can still smell you on my shirt." I sat on the edge of the bed with her phone in my hand, and my whole body felt cold. Not dramatic cold. The kind where your skin feels too tight. I put the phone back exactly where it was and went to the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror like I might recognize the guy looking back. I didn't. The next day, when she got home, she had that same bright voice. "Hey, babe." I didn't play along. I set my own phone on the counter, opened to a photo I'd taken of the messages, and slid it toward her. She didn't even pick it up. She just looked at the screen and went still. For a second, she was silent. And in that silence, I realized how badly I wanted her to say it wasn't true. I wanted her to laugh and explain it away in a way that made sense. I wanted to be embarrassed. I wanted to apologize. I wanted my life back. Instead, she whispered, "Why did you go through my phone?" Not, "I'm sorry." Not, "That's not what it looks like." Just a complaint. "That's your first question?" I said, my voice was so calm it sounded like someone else's. Not, "Why did I let another man smell me on his shirt?" Not, "Why did I tell him you're being weird?" Just my phone. Her eyes filled, finally, like tears were a button she could press when needed. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said. "I was lonely. I felt invisible. You're always working. You're always tired." I didn't let her build the speech. "You said yoga." I cut in. "You said yoga while you build a whole other thing next to our marriage." "It wasn't," she started. "It was," I said. "It was enough." She stepped closer, reaching for my arm the way she does when she wants to pull me back into the safe version of us. I stepped back without thinking. The look on her face when I moved away, like she'd been slapped, should have made me feel something. It didn't. It just made me tired. I told her to pack a bag. I told her I couldn't sleep next to her. I told her I needed space to think without breathing in someone else's cologne on her clothes and wondering if I was crazy. She stood there, shaking, like she couldn't believe consequences were real, like she thought I'd soften if she waited long enough. I didn't. She left, and the house felt bigger in the worst way. I stayed up too late cleaning things that didn't need cleaning. I washed the same cup twice. I stared at the front door like it might open and undo the last 24 hours. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if this is salvageable. I don't know if I'm the kind of person who can rebuild trust after smelling another man on my wife and reading her tell him I'm being weird. I just know that my body recognized the truth before my brain wanted to. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. And if you've ever had a small, stupid detail, like a scent, a text preview, a timestamp, crack your whole life open, feel free to share your story in the comments.